Boxing has been it's a family tradition. It's something that my great-grandfather did right on down the line, and it got to the point where it's my turn, and I felt like it was my job to do it.
He is stunned. He's rocked. This is what happens to fighters when they lose that competitive edge. They can't get out of the way of those punches. Every shot that Morrison is throwing is nailing Thomas.
Thomas said it earlier. He's going to fight this fight as if it were his last, and it should be. And the big surprise right here is that Thomas has survived the first round. I think he quit. He quit. It's over.
Obviously, if Mike Tyson doesn't come out of the woodwork and accept the challenge against Holyfield, should Holyfield win? If he doesn't, then they have offered that opportunity to me. Obviously, we're the type of people, and I think I speak for my whole team when I say this, we came here to fight Yuri Vaulin. That's the only thing that we're concentrating and focusing on. After this fight, we'll all sit down and we'll decide whether or not Tommy Morrison is ready to take that step. Although we would prefer fighting him 8 or 9 months from now, there is a possibility that it may take place in August, which is about 4.5 to 5 months away. Yeah, we feel that it is speeding up the process a little bit, but at this point, we sit down, we say, Vander Holyfield is not any bigger, he's not any faster, and he certainly doesn't hit any harder than I do. At this point, what he does have is a little bit of experience and a little bit of conditioning, which is something we feel we're closing the gap on each and every day.
He comes out.
But is he white hope or
out.
white hype?
Interpreter, let him come out. All right, want to come out?
That's Yuri Vaulin. 10 wins out of 11 so far. He hasn't really pulled up any trees, but he was a top amateur, a World Cup winner, and a European champion, both senior and junior. But Morrison can't afford to make mistakes in fights like this if he's going anywhere. Due to go 10, you can see the arena filling up all the time. 19,000 seats in here tonight. $1,000 if you want a ringside seat to see this spectacular bill, which all culminates in that Evander Holyfield-George Foreman fight, which is now something like 1 hour away. So, 10 rounds, Morrison, the Duke in the black shorts, the rising young heavyweight contender, and Yuri Vaulin from the Soviet Union, from Latvia to be exact, although he lives in New York, in the red trunks. What kind of job can Morrison do here? He'll want to look impressive, Colin Hart.
Yes, certainly in front of this star-studded audience, he'll want to look good. What's interesting, of course, you don't see it very often, 2 white heavyweights in the ring together.
A lot of people used to write about Morrison that he had the looks of a man who'd just come out of a movie. Well, now, of course, he can say he has. Rocky V, where he played Sylvester Stallone's protege. Took 6 months off his boxing to do that. His managers seem to think that was okay. He's guided by Bill Caton, who, of course, played a big part in Mike Tyson's rise. That was just a slip for Morrison. Vaulin still has quite a lot of amateur traits around him. That's the word, really. He spent a long time as an amateur in the Soviet Union, and he's one of the new breed of glasnost pros, as it were, coming out of that country.
Yes, but of course the Russians have been very clever. They won't allow any of their young fighters to become pros. They put an age limit on it, and I think it's about nobody under 25 or 26.
Well, that was a big right from Morrison, a big booming right. And Vaulin with his gloves pretty low. His head's an open target. He uses his reflex, southpaw, as you can see. And he took one head punch. He didn't sway out of the way of that one, and there's another. His only defeat was on cuts, Vaulin. But last time out, he was booed in a fairly negative points win. And he's no doubt been hand-picked here to try and make Morrison look fairly good on his way to a title shot in the next year or so, and Morrison letting go with some big punches. Impressed, Colin?
Well, not yet. I don't think this will prove anything if he beats this Russian very quickly. I mean, he's got two good names on his record, Pinkman Thomas and Tillis, both completely shot. So the jury's still out on Morrison, whatever happens here tonight. Unless, of course, he loses.
I must say, just talking around, you don't hear too many people who are overexcited about Morrison within the trade, yet, anyway.
No, well, I mean, he's only 22. You know, he really is still, I won't say he's a novice, but he's not far out of novice stage.
Good first round for Morrison. He's landed with some fairly heavy head punches and was on the way to maybe landing another one there. Morrison going back to his corner. He claims to have ancestral ties with John Wayne, although John Wayne's family said they've never heard of him.
No, well, I mean, they did work it out that he's probably a great uncle, but many times removed. I think he shares the name Morrison.
All helps to sell a few tickets, doesn't it, I guess?
Oh, well, yes, certainly. And he's dyed his hair nice bright blonde, and he's just come out of the Rocky V movie.
You understand?
And
Let's go.
It looks
nice.
like,
Stay the way you're working.
It looks like a film extra to me.
Use the jab.
There's
Come with the
Vaulin.
left hand.
Listen
Let
to
me
his
come.
corner.
Throw this fucking leg. Get rid of it.
Well, if you go live into the corner, you've got to expect a bit of the industrial language from time to time. Apologies about that.
I wonder if the Russian would have understood that if his corner man was talking to him in the same vein.
Muhammad Ali, by the way, has just arrived in the arena to take his seat. Out of sure shot. Vaulin just poking out the southpaw jab. It doesn't look as if it'll be enough. Good combinations from him there. They're showing some of his amateur skills, but he does really look as if he is still an amateur. Conditioned, of course, to fight 9 minutes. We've never really seen any questions answered about Morrison's defense yet. He's never been put under any kind of pressure, really. He's been fighting mostly what the Americans like to call tomato cans, in that quaint phrase of theirs.
Yeah, well, of course, if you're white and you're blonde and you're reasonably good looking and you're reasonably big, you would be foolish to overextend him. In fact, at the moment, they've only underextended him.
Vaulin is counterpunching quite well in this round there. Morrison lunged forward and Vaulin picked him off with a very good right. Not looking so impressive in this second round, and Vaulin just growing in confidence a little bit.
Don't punch, step.
Seems to be a cut by the bottom lip of Morrison.
You know, like all Russians and Eastern Europeans, they're technically very good boxers. They've been very well coached. Of course, they're very unexciting to watch. So, Vaulin, I don't know what his amateur record was, but I'm sure he had a large number of amateur bouts at good level, at European Championship level.
He won 227 and lost 30 as an amateur.
Well,
and European champion, as I was telling you.
Well, that means he's had the equivalent of 50 professional fights. So he's not exactly new to this business.
Hands up, hands up.
Corner saying hands up to Vaulin. Does hold his gloves pretty low, which leaves him open to headshots, but he's done well in this second round. He's landing with some decent shots of his own. There's the countdown towards the end of the round on the bottom right of your picture. And again, Morrison coming in face first and being picked off. That is, well, you pay the penalty for that kind of thing against a puncher. He's looking wild in this round and disorganized, Morrison, and he doesn't look the part at all.
Oh, Vaulin's enjoying himself.
Well, another of the big heavyweight prospects, Bruce Seldon, was turned over last night by Ollie McCall. Could we have another turned over tonight? Vaulin has certainly had the better of this second round. Rejoin us, Big City Convention Centre. That's the aerial view, as it were. That's where Simon Reed's been speaking to you from way up high. Holyfield foreman to come. And, well, we're within an hour of that showdown now. All the talking will have to stop. But it's really sold the tickets here. They expect to generate something like $100 million for the first time with the pay-per-view, live gate and the rest of it. Meanwhile, Yuri Vaulin of the Soviet Union starting to give prospect Tommy Morrison problems. Vaulin in the red trunks, the southpaw from Latvia, who lives in the Yonkers area of New York. Settled in the States now. Morrison landed some good headshots in the first round. Vaulin growing in confidence, and Morrison, there he is, picked off again, almost at will. It's not an impressive performance so far from Morrison. He doesn't look anything like a possible future world title contender.
He looked very unhappy when he went to his corner at the end of the second round. Morrison's mouth was hanging open and he was blowing pretty hard. But he just caught Vaulin with a good shot to the head and his legs wobbled a little.
Vaulin going to the body that time. That almost looked as if it was straying into the low blow area. Not quite. You can see that the abdominal protector of Morrison is starting to ride up above the shorts there.
Also, Morrison's got two nasty lumps beginning to appear under both his eyes. The result of, one of them certainly the result of that southpaw right jab.
Morrison is breathing quite heavily. Gets him with a couple of hooks to the head. He's looking to take Vaulin out all the time, and Vaulin at the moment is frankly outboxing. Oh, and he wobbled him. Morrison's knees buckled there. He is in trouble in this fight at the moment. He's being outboxed. Vaulin knows too much for him in terms of style. It's a big opportunity for the Soviet boy, who's brought in here as the opponent, but he's giving Morrison a fairly hard time of it in this third round, and who knows, the prospect could be turned over here.
Well, it shows you how ridiculous it was to talk about Morrison as the next world title contender.
Yeah, they were talking about putting him in with Foreman if Foreman won the big fight later this year. He's having enough trouble with this one. Vaulin is in top here, and on top in a big way. Oh, uppercut. Mustn't get careless. Morrison comes back well with a left and another one. And Vaulin just wants to give ground for a moment, but this is certainly the best performance of the 27-year-old Soviet's career so far. He hadn't read the script, there's no doubt about that.
Well, I think Morrison, as far as Morrison's concerned, this is not what perestroika is all about.
Absolutely right, yeah. Well, Morrison had one or two successes, but he loses his balance and looks tired and marked around the face as he goes back to the corner there. There's blood starting to come from his mouth as well, and this is probably as hard a test as he's had to face so far. Good punch economy. That, look at that straight left and the right cross, really put it together, and Morrison's defense did not pass the test.
And also, he's a stone heavier than the Russian.
Good shots these.
Good shots, Ian, but you can't miss him.
Landed well. Yeah, he's not slipping anything at all. Look, and that's where his knees buckled. Meanwhile, the crowd's beginning to get very excited as Morrison's going backwards. I wonder if he was going to go down there. Fourth round coming up. Tommy Morrison from Kansas City, Missouri, unbeaten so far. Getting all the trouble he can handle. That's a good right from him, though, right at the start of the round. He's got the superior punch power, there's no doubt about that. But Vaulin, to my eyes anyway, is in a completely different class in terms of boxing skill.
Right, come on. Hush! Come on, Yuri, I
suppose the question with Vaulin is how well he'll last, remembering what we said earlier about his long amateur pedigree. Morrison looks tired, Colin.
Yeah. Of course, at the end of the third round, he would have got a majority decision in the Olympic Games. But professional boxing, as we know, it's not about 3 threes. And he's got a long way to go still.
Punch out of there, Tommy.
Well, some of the American writers in a little poll had Tommy Morrison ahead of Lennox Lewis as a prospect. How they came to that conclusion, I will never know.
Punch out of there, Tom. Watch your heads in there, fellas. Watch your heads.
Referee telling them to watch the heads coming close together. The jab coming out from Vaulin. Not quite so busy, Vaulin, in this round. And just not quite so much, it seems, in his punches. Not quite so sharp. Looking a little more arm weary.
Don't punch, don't punch. Tommy, don't punch, Tommy.
Yeah, but Morrison still hasn't been able to get to him. He hits him with the occasional shot, but he hasn't put any combinations together.
I wonder what Bill Caton is thinking at ringside. He's kind of been ostracized from Mike Tyson these days, and here he is watching his big hope having a fairly torrid time of it. It's touch and go whether he keeps his unbeaten record here, isn't it?
Well, at the moment, but as I say, we're only in round 4. But it seems that Mr. Morrison should have been reading boxing manuals rather than film scripts. You know, you're either a fighter or a film star. You can't be both.
Both looking a little more tired in this round. By the way, another of the big prospects, Riddick Bowe, is in action in Atlantic City tomorrow against Tony Tubbs. Last few seconds of the 4th round. Still the better work coming from Vaulin and a rather tired Tommy Morrison as Vaulin goes back to his corner. Now everybody here, look at all the seats filling up, celebrities at ringside. Muhammad Ali has arrived. I'm told Joe Frazier is around somewhere as well. Paul Dempsey's been meeting some of the others. There's the scorecard. After 4 rounds, that particular expert at ringside, that's one of the Americans. It's not one of the judges or anything like that. Don't be confused about that. It's just to give you a guide. He has Vaulin 3 rounds to 1 ahead. That's how I'm scoring it too, Colin. Yes. Meanwhile, just to interrupt you, Colin, now here's Evander Holyfield backstage, warming up, the heavyweight champion of the world, for the fight with George Foreman, which is now something like 45 minutes away. Great excitement here, Colin.
Well, of course, it's a bit unfortunate for the undercard boys. Really, people watch them with half an eye. All they're interested in is waiting for the big one. Morrison ought to be pleased if they're only watching him with half an eye.
Well, he's almost watching with half an eye himself, because that right eye is swelling up a little bit underneath. It's not closed or anything, something of an exaggeration by your commentator, but he's got a problem with the right eye underneath it anyway. Swelling underneath.
Get off his neck, Yuri.
Morrison, black trunks. Oh, and there Morrison letting a right go on the break. Oh, good left hook, and he had Vaulin going there. And I thought for a moment that the Soviet boxer was going to go down. And Morrison senses his chance here now. He's starting to slip behind on the scorecards, but he's got Vaulin going right at the start of the round. And that's important because he's got 2.5 minutes still to work at it, Cole.
Yeah, the Russian will do very well to survive this round now. He's been badly hurt.
Well, been a good effort from Vaulin, but can he last?
Work out of it, you're loose, you're loose.
Morrison, as they say in the trade, seems to have the equalizer here, the punch that might make up for his deficiencies. That's another big booming left hook. And Vaulin wants to hold on. He wants to gain respite. Morrison will be suitably encouraged. And that's a body shot this time. And Vaulin, I don't think, wants to know any more about it. It's over. I think it's got to be over. Now he's going to give him a standing 8 here. But Vaulin is giving out the kind of signals that fighters give out when they don't really want to go on. But he is going to go on. I thought there he'd quit.
Yeah, he would have been happy if the referee had stepped in right there. But he's obviously damaged the rib. That punch may have cracked a rib because he's in quite a lot of pain. And he took another shot on it.
But the referee can't let that go on. I was going to say he didn't really need to do the second standing 8 count. It was quite obvious that Vaulin was in no position to continue. I think, Colin, you're probably right there. He may well have cracked a rib there because that next body punch did bore him completely. He was in a lot of pain. And Morrison, who did not look the part at all, turns it around with his power in the 5th round. But Morrison, in my view, I don't know what you think, Colin, is nowhere near ready yet to be pitched in with the big boys.
Of course he isn't, Ian, you're absolutely right, but that doesn't mean he won't be. There's money to be made with a white heavyweight, and he's not even in the world rankings, but that doesn't mean anything either, because the way boxing politics works is they want him in at number 9, somebody will put him in at number 9. You've got 4 world bodies, 3 recognised by most people. If they want it, if the connections want it badly enough, it will happen in the summer. A lot depends, of course, what happens between Holyfield and Foreman.
That was that lovely left hook from Morrison. And it was body shots in the end. That was a really good left hook. Look at the sweat spraying as that punch landed. More of the action. There it is again. That really shook Vaulin up and almost knocked his gum shield out. At this point, Vaulin is trying to poke out his jab, and then a body shot, and there, look at, you can see the pain written on his face as that landed. Whether he damaged a rib or not is only speculation. We'd only find that out in the dressing room afterwards, but it seems reasonable speculation. There it is. He was in pain from the moment that landed. I thought he wanted to quit the first time.
Well, he did, because you see what often happens when we say cracked a rib. I mean, well, you know, it's got to be x-rayed to find that out, but sometimes they dislodge a cartilage in the rib section, and it's extremely painful.
What it means is that Tommy Morrison is now, as the Americans like to say, 27-0. That is 27 wins and no defeats in British parlance, and 23 of them by knockout. This one in the 5th here of the announcement.
Referee Steve Smolder stops this contest at 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the 5th round. The winner by TKO victory, his record now 27-0 with 23 KOs from Kansas City, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Tough fight though for Morrison. In a moment we hope to